Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar session today. My name is Arwan, Customer Success Manager at Replicon, and let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering in the next hour. Earlier this year, we hosted a webinar introducing you to time intelligence. Today, we will be briefly recapping some of the components of the time intelligence platform and new improvements that we have introduced so far. We will also be walking you through the details of the features that has been released in 2018 and give you overview of how you can make them work for your Replicon's instance. We will then address any questions that come up right before concluding the session today, with quick resources to guide you of where you can also find this information that we will be talking about. But before that, let's go through quick housekeeping notes. You would be on mute during the presentation, and there will be a Q&A session right at the end. However, if you do have any questions at any time during the webinar, please feel free to submit them in the questions box, and we will make sure that they are answered. Now let's get started. Replicon has been helping customers to manage time as an asset by being single source of truth for time capture, providing that centralized visibility and control. We have established that time spent by businesses should not really be in collecting the disparate fragmented time data from different systems that your organization is using today, but equipping them with the ability to analyze time, plan and learn to make changes so that you can drive higher productivity and profitability to your business. And to achieve this, we need to be able to connect time to the outcomes that gets produced. And this is where time intelligence comes in. Time intelligence warrants that businesses think about time in an innovative way and work towards bringing in transformation on how you can manage time better. It's about knowing and understanding time, being able to connect the outcomes to make predictions, business decisions, and doing all this while keeping your employees empowered. So having that holistic view for time is extremely important. And for that, time needs to be treated as money, because time does make up 60% of your operating expenses, and you must have a very good control over that. In the era that we are in, workforces are moving towards more desktop-less, computer-less, and mobile. So time is really mobile. And by being global, it allows us to be able to handle complex, multi-location, diverse employee types with having good global library for compliance and global governance in place as well. So our platform is built for the future and streamlines time management with the use of advanced technology like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. And these technologies help with automating of time tracking, at the same time giving your employees better empowerment, and it also helps creating more efficient and business workflows processes. Now let's take a quick look at what some of these new improvements have been, and some of these we have previously covered in the last webinar. Facial recognition, the capabilities are now live in our cloud clocks. It helps make process automated, quick and seamless with no additional hardware cost. Also extending these authentication methods for mobile and have enabled Touch ID and Face ID for faster access to Replicon mobile application as well. We've also rolled out AI-powered chatbot. It's currently in beta at the moment, so it's available by request. It's like your personal assistant that you can strike a conversation with around your time. And this helps makes the whole process of time entry much more interactive, takes away the pain, and it will result in an increase in adoption and promoting higher data accuracy and consistency as well. Another enhancement that has been done for the supervisory and staff and managers is around how we can help reduce administrative overheads related to business approvals and workflows, which we can then tailor it to any business requirement that you may have. We have implemented we have implemented approval routing that can be decided in real time based on data validations and exceptions. And this, all in all, reduces the overhead on approvers who manage the routing and make so that they are spending more time making informed decisions with relevant information at their fingertips. And when it comes to managing complex contracts and billing effectively, At Replicon, we have overcome these issues by creating a unified platform through which you can now systemize complex contracts and easily handle discounts, adjustments, and exceptions. Also, any validations that needs to be put in before you can bill out to your clients. So all the transactions, because it occurs on a single automated platform, would result in the reduction in errors due to manual entry, and it will help increase both transparency and accountability for billing and finance teams as well. And last but not the least is keeping up with the compliance. The new revenue recognition standard that has recently been introduced, IFRS 15 and ASC 606, in Australia would probably know it as AASB 15, launched in Jan 2018. It recognizes revenue in the earned period, and Replicon serves as that platform for end-to-end revenue management, and it will give you that real-time visibility, out-of-the-box compliance, and also reduce the admin overhead as well. So for these two particular modules, which is contract and billing workbench and revenue recognition, we will be conducting a webinar over the next couple of weeks. And in that webinar, we will be doing a demo of what Replicon would look like for these modules to work. And it will be targeted to our time, bill, and professional services customers. So if you also would like to know more about this, you can reach out to your CSM, and we'll be able to help you out with that. So at Replicon, we want to ensure that time tracking can be made more intelligent at the same time as being less and less mundane or intrusive to users. Being fast and frictionless can help keep up with the data accuracy and higher productivity. Empowering employees at the same time will promote higher adoption and better user experience. And keeping that configurability very simple, it avoids overheads for admins and internal teams at the same time. And we all have to agree that the best form of time management really requires least amount of effort for it to be more efficient and for workforces to be more productive and effective. Now, coming to the second part of our webinar today, I'd like to take some time to walk you through various features that we have released in 2018. You may have seen some of this if you have subscribed to our product updates communication or via intercom pop-ups within the Replicon instance. The new features and functionalities that we have released are around different areas within Replicon product. Therefore, regardless of which Replicon modules that you might be using today, you will find some level of relevance to this session. Starting off with timesheet enhancements, please note that all enhancements made for the timesheets are done in the latest version of timesheet template, which is also known as Configurable or Widget timesheet in the Plus and Enterprise modules. The first one we released is the sorting of timesheet rows by project, task, client, billing rate, activity, or any other custom field that you have created within timesheet, and if you're using the time distribution grid format. The benefit of this feature is it definitely makes it easier for employees to find projects and tasks and activities that they need to add additional hours to, at the same time giving approvers the ability to group the data that pertains to a single project or single client, but it is scattered across multiple rows across the timesheet. And these both benefits actually contribute to greater user adoption and provide better user experience with Replicon interface as well. The second enhancement we rolled out on timesheet is the timesheet file attachments. I've come across many customers who have requested the ability to add a file or web URL to the timesheet when they are entering time. And it could be, whether it could be a scanned copy of worksheet that requires signature, notes on work completed, which has been saved on Google Sheets or SharePoint document, or even images of work that they have completed each day. These attachments will make the approval process by supervisors and project managers so much easier to manage, and it will help reducing the back and forth communication during the approval process, enhancing quality control of the timesheet data that has been entered. Now, this is a new custom field that needs to be created at your timesheet level. If you need any help with that, feel free to reach out to your CSM or Replicon support to help set that up for you. Now, we have introduced a couple of new validation rules to our configurable timesheets, and what basically validation rules do once they're added to timesheet templates and then gets assigned to users is it ensures that users are completing all the necessary actions before the timesheets are submitted for further approval. Again, this helps reduces overhead time significantly, increasing accuracy of time data reported by users, and also minimizing any manual interventions to manage the exceptions. So the first new timesheet validation rule we introduced is the daily rest period. This is if you want to ensure your employees are taking time off for a certain number of hours, hypothetically, let's say 12 hours between each shift. So a new daily rest period validation rule can help you with that. With this rule, employees who will attempt to punch in or enter a starting time without having taken the required duration of rest will either see a warning message or the error message, depending on what you actually set that threshold up for. The second validation rule we added is the yearly overtime hours. Now, if you need to cap the number of overtime hours an employee can accumulate, you could try to use this yearly overtime hours timesheet validation rule. So in order to use this rule, you will define the maximum number of hours that the employees can earn during the year and have the pay code qualified as overtime. Then the rule gets assigned to the timesheet template, then to the user's profile. After that, if the user enter overtime that exceeds the limit for the calendar year, a validation message can come up as a warning or an error message as per how you set it up. And these validation rules will only work with the latest configurable timesheets, and that information is actually available in the help file as well. And I will also walk you briefly through what configurable timesheet looks like. We have also introduced the timesheet conditional approvals, and this ties back to the goal of time intelligence, really. We've launched the timesheet conditional approval rules and introduced 3 default rules to help you get started. The first one being the ability to escalate it to the next supervisor after specific elapsed time. It is also known as time-triggered approval, and you can enter what that elapsed time is and number of hierarchy levels that you would like to escalate that to. The second one is supervisor approves if it is above specific hours. So you may have a requirement where you want to auto approve specific working hours every week, but if there's anything more than that, you would like to send it to the supervisors. That's where ours is configurable as well, and you can modify the script with a parameter to redefine that number of hours there. And we have also released a supervisor approved overtime hours. So if you have set up an overtime hours flagged to capture the number of overtime hours, then you can just set the approval path up here to just capture that overtime hours and let that go to the supervisors. Now, these rules are applicable to the approval paths, and this functionality helps reduce supervisors and admin overheads. Approval process will become more automated and more efficient, resulting in the admins and supervisors' time being spent making more informed decision rather than spending time approving everything that comes their way. And we now have the capability to create all kinds of custom approval rules as well. So please do let us know if you have any other business rules which is specific to how you would want to automate, and we can help scope out to see if they can be scripted to meet your requirements. So all these new enhancements on timesheets that we have talked about are applicable to configurable timesheets. And for those of you who are not utilizing this functionality as yet, this is a brief overview of what comes with the new timesheet template. You will definitely have the flexibility to tailor the timesheet options to your requirements, whether it is the timesheet UI, the validation rules, or the workflow conditions. In the older timesheet templates, there would be fixed number of options, and you have very limited flexibility to make the timesheet entry process more robust. For example, your organization may have a mandate to have attestation that comes from users when they're submitting the timesheet, or you may have daily minimum hours requirement that users must comply to, or even the ability to provide warnings but still allow the submission to go through. And other benefits of this new timesheet template is it allows for better compliance, higher data accuracy, and less number of exceptions that are associated to time entry and approval processes. This information is again available in the help documentation as well. And if you're not sure which timesheet version you are on, please reach out. Myself or Sunil, who is your other CSM on the call, would be able to help you out with this information. Okay, the next one that we have made some enhancement around is around project billing and costing. And similar to what we introduced in Timesheet, you can now add attachments at project level as well. Because as a project manager, sometimes you need to share common project files such as signed statement of works or project plans with other team managers. And we've added an easy way to do that in Replicon by using that dynamic project custom fields that can support file attachments. This will again need to be a custom field and added to your project page, where they will be displayed at the bottom of your project info dialog for each project. This definitely results in better traceability, better access to the repository of all your project related information for audit and referenceability in one place. And when you're working with others to manage projects, you might be looking for easier way to communicate the status changes for project. Our new project notifications can help you with that, and we have added two. One that notifies you if a new project you manage was created in the system. A second that lets you know if the status of a project you manage has changed. And you can assign these notifications to any role involved in who's involved in managing the projects, from project administrators to co-managers as well. And this makes your project management process more automated and more efficient at the same time. The next section is the system and administration side of things. So in this information era, everyone is looking for simple ways to keep up with the data that actually matters. And Replicon's dashboard lets you easily view and share this critical information with other decision makers and executives in the organization as well by using that graphical charts. Charts always show real-time data, so you're looking at the current status of things. For example, you can create charts that show which of your projects or clients yield you most profit, so everyone knows what to allot more time and resources to. Or you can keep tabs on how much time off each employee has taken as well by using this graphical representation of data. We've offered dashboards for a while, but we've recently made some improvements and are now removing the features beta flag. And one key improvement that we have made is that dashboards can be accessible to anyone with dashboard permission. Users will only see data in dashboard chats that they have permission to view, but in the rest of application. So you can assign dashboards now without worrying that they will be able to see confidential details they shouldn't have access to. And a company can actually have multiple dashboards, and each dashboard can display multiple charts, and this can be enabled at users' permission level as well. We're working hard to make it really easy to troubleshoot issues like lost Replicon usernames and password. And here are some of the improvements that we've made to the user experience that we made. First of all is you can now easily retrieve a lost username, providing you have a valid company name and email address. And we also now provide better feedback when a password is reset or when the username is being retrieved. We're also working on a couple of other security controls with respect to logging in, and you would see some upcoming changes related to security in the next couple of weeks. Now, if you're an administrator and you need help with an issue within Replicon, you can chat directly, obviously, with the support team. but it is much more easier now when we have added the ticketing system console to the administration system and security control tab under manage account page next to your contract information. Here you can raise issues and ask questions. You can add comments to tickets. You can see the history of your recent cases, and you can also view a resolution summary for your closed tickets. This helps provide better visibility to your raised issues and concerns, and it also gives you access to the repository of your past cases that you might sometime need to reference back from time to time. Now, in some countries, there is a right to disconnect laws that protect workers from being disturbed by work-related communication, whether it's phone calls or emails or push notifications on the days off. Now, you can easily enforce this regulation using Replicon notifications, because on the notification page in each user profile, you can specify that the user's notifications can be sent out anytime based on the settings alone, or you can set it to be sent out on work days as defined by the schedule. So this functionality helps you meet the compliance for those countries, and particularly for admins, this also helps reduces the possibility of email notifications being missed out by users while they are away. In some companies, there are different groups of users set up who are assigned to different push and email notifications. So for example, workers in one location might receive daily reminders to fill out timesheets because it's a mandate for them, while other locations don't. Now in Replicon, you can assign one or more groups to any new notifications you create, and the message will only be sent to the members of that specific group assigned. This makes it easier to target particular groups to have a better and more relevant messaging, and also in managing their notifications as well. And this is only possible if you are currently using the group functionality within Replicon. We've also recently rolled out our Replicon integration with Bamboo HR as an HR tool. So any new users added in Bamboo HR can be synced to Replicon, and they get automatically added to Replicon. And this can, and at the same time, if you disable any Replicon users, if you terminate any users in Bamboo HR, it will also disable Replicon users at the same time. So this will ensure that both systems are always matching. And the final enhancement we did is around email notifications, and it can now be automatically forwarded to substitute users as well. When you're setting up a substitute user, you can now choose to have your email notification messages forwarded, and so that they can be aware of what tasks they need to carry out on your behalf. This new functionality is available in the new product suite, and it applies to email notifications only, not the push notifications. And it helps increases the visibility for substituted users to not miss out on any required actions. Now, coming to time off enhancement, this is specific to customers who currently have time off module available in their instance. We've added a new holiday options to provide greater flexibility to users when they're submitting for time off, and this can be specified number of hours for emergency purposes, partial day holidays for half-day public holidays in some countries, or option to specific unpaid holidays, and even a new validation option for those who are currently not auto-populating holiday hours as in the timesheet, as this option would ensure that holidays are accounted for when you're actually validating these rules. So this new holiday options helps in accurate reporting for time off taken by employees at the same time. The next one is the ability to attach files or documents to the time off request, very similar to what you can do at the timesheet and project level. Say, for example, in a time off situation, you have a sick note that needs to be submitted or a jury duty notice that needs to be added to the booking, to the time off booking. It could save all the hassle of independently tracking the note via email or having hard copies lying around in your offices. And This helps better support the traceability and auditability of time off taken by employees. And this is part of the custom fields that help support file attachments, and you can create that and tie that to the time off booking. We have introduced new time off policy rules as addition to the existing accrual time off policy. And again, this is applicable if you're currently on the latest time off module and you have users booking time off from Replicon. We've added accruals on paid hours in situation where your employees might have both paid and unpaid hours option. In the limitation rules, we now allow you to cap accruals for the year and have a yearly carryover with an expiry date. In validation rules, we have added an option to track time in lieu and limit amount of time off that has been taken. And for starting policy rules, in addition to starting balance to and starting balance carryover, we now allow you to have starting balance set to with expiry. Now, this is extremely important because it provides country or organization employees time off policies to be specific with compliance, and having that accurate balances visibility for employees when they are accessing or about to make a booking to their time off, minimizing the financial impacts which is associated to either overpaying or underpaying employee based on time off that they have taken, and keeping your accrual process automated, resulting in higher accuracy in reporting and just taking everything away from your Excel and manual process. Additionally, we've also introduced time off conditional approval, which will allow supervisor to approve time off if it is over a specific duration. You can also redirect any shorter bookings away from approvals to be system approved instead. So you can specify the threshold that applies to the time off and what time off type would you want to do that for. So that can definitely help automate this whole process, and you can get your supervisors and admins to focus on higher duration time off bookings instead. Again, we do have the ability to create a wide variety of approval rules that your organization may be looking for. We can definitely work it out if you do have any specific requirement to see if it can be scripted. So one additional enhancement that we just rolled out last month is for time off customers in our new product suite is, again, it's called the time triggered time off approval, sorry. And this can allow you to escalate to the next approval after elapsed time. So it can definitely help prevent approval delays where approvals are unavailable, and it helps improve turnaround time once the booking is made so that employees actually aware, and it gives you close to accurate real-time visibility to resource managers and project managers when they are scheduling resources against projects. So definitely, making the whole process a lot more automated, a lot more seamless, and a lot more easier. We've also made some additional enhancements to the punch and mobile enhancements, as we previously covered about how we are evolving Replicon as time intelligence platform and enabling this quick, this seamless, secured, and easy way to access Replicon applications on mobiles. With that, we have rolled out the fingerprint identification for Android and iOS, and it's available for the devices that support fingerprint sensors. We've also rolled out the Face ID authentication in Replicon Mobile for iOS. And if you're on an iPhone X hardware, you will see that you can now use your Face ID to log into the app instead. And as previously covered, facial recognition is now live for customers who are using Cloud Clock to enter their premises, and it can use that as an authorized way to accept the punch in. Now, some customers who are currently using punches, previously in Replicon, time punches were always shown in the logged in user's time zone. So if a supervisor, office manager, or a payroll manager is sitting in California, you would see punches from an employee located in Japan in Pacific time. So to make this process more flexible, we've added a new display punches in field to the user settings page. So this is specific to each user, and it provides better accuracy reporting and minimizing the manual interventions that's required by admins to manipulate and change that data so they can do proper reporting. Another one is if sometimes a punch shift crosses over midnight. So the only option we previously had was to allow all hours to be allocated to the first day or the leading day. But allocating time to the leading day sometimes can cause an audit issue because the hours don't appear on the actual day that has been worked. And for that reason and others, some companies may want hours to be split across the days or allocated to the second day or the last day instead. So we are now offering two new default options to this. And the trailing day option will allow all hours worked in the shift that spans over midnight to be allocated on the last day of the shift, and hours that are allocated to and the split across midnight option allows the hours that are allocated to the actual day when they're worked. So the number of hours will get split as per the days they fall into. So this definitely provides better auditability and compliance to align with the working policies as well. And then we have this one final enhancement around expenses. Again, very similar to the timesheet conditional approvals and time off conditional approvals. We now allow conditional approvals in expenses module as well. So if to save approvers time, you prefer that only high value expenses are sent to approvers, this rule can definitely help. The rule that says a new supervisor approves expenses over a certain amount, that's the only default rule we have released for expenses. It can certainly help you meet that requirement. And you can also enabling total reimbursement option so that any expense sheet with a reimbursable total that exceeds the threshold is sent to the supervisor as well. And this is only available in our Expense Plus module. And the expense conditional approval rules administrator permissions needs to be enabled before you can actually see this. The expense amount is also defined using your system's base currency, and all these conditional approvals are actually applied to your approval paths. And if you have any questions around this, we can definitely see how we can help you set this up. On that note, I really do appreciate everyone's time for being on the call today. We will have a recording sent out, and if you do have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to your customer success manager. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you very much for your time.